To sum up 2019 for Bitcoin, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. We were reminded of the power of Bitcoin as the price ran up to $14,000 in what seemed only a matter of days, only to be reminded of the despair that hodling brings as the price shrunk back down to $6,000. Today, I'm going to be giving you 5 bold Bitcoin predictions that I guarantee are going to happen, and you can take that to the bank. If it's still there, because we're trying to get rid of those. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to BitBoy Crypto, your one-stop shop for all things Bitcoin and cryptocurrency related. Today, we're going to be talking about my top 5 bold predictions for Bitcoin in 2020. Now, 2019, it was a year some of us want to forget about. Some people who invested back in December of 2018 are still feeling pretty good. But overall, it was definitely an up and down year for Bitcoin. Now, if you want to see my prediction video for 2019 that I made last year, I will put that above. And when you go watch that video, you're going to find that I nailed almost all of my predictions, or at least came pretty close on all of them. There were no predictions that I made last year that were totally off base. In some form or fashion, they all came to fruition, or at least came relatively close. I said Tron was going to be in the top 5. It got as high as number 8. I said the Bitcoin SV was going to drop out of the top 20. It got down to number 15. So there were a couple that were a little close. The rest are pretty dead on. So definitely check out that video. Now for 2020, I know the number one question everybody wants to know, and we're going to hit that one in number 5. You guys make sure if you want to know where the price of Bitcoin is going to go for 2020, at least in my opinion, based on some history of Bitcoin, then make sure you stay till the end. Now, we make videos like this, or kind of like this, almost every day on this channel, so make sure that you are a subscriber to the Bit Squad so you get all this great content like every single day, or at least like 4 out of 5 days when I'm feeling frisky. So, okay, guys, let's get into the list. Let's start with number 1. So, my first prediction for 2020 when it comes to Bitcoin is that we are going to get the Netscape Moment. Now, what does that mean? You may be saying, what is Netscape? Especially if you're under 35 years old. But Netscape was a web browser that allowed people to use the internet. Now, the internet was around. It's actually been, ideas of it started in the 50s. And of course, by the 80s, the web was really developing. However, there was no way to use it. But in 1995, Netscape debuted as the browser that allowed people to be able to access websites on the internet. Now, when I was growing up, at first we all thought that AOL was the internet. You would go there and there was, chat rooms, and there were bulletin boards, and there were, there was information there that you could see. However, we didn't even know that there was a whole vast web out there that we could surf. Now, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has ran into this same problem. We have the technology, it works, but it's still so confusing for new people trying to figure out private keys and public addresses. I mean, even the name private key, when everyone's used to the name password to basically mean the same thing, a code that you input to access your wallet or your account, whatever the case may be, that is something we're going to have to change if we're going to see Bitcoin adoption. And I do believe that over the next year in 2020, we're going to see something begin to get developed that's going to change everything, that's going to make Bitcoin easy for people to use. And I'm excited to see what that is. All right, the number 2 bold prediction I have is that we're going to see Bitcoin take over South America. It's harder to name a country in South America that is not having a crisis than it is to name the ones that are. And by crisis, I mean financial collapse, demonstrations, riots, political turmoil and upheaval. We've seen it in Ecuador, Bolivia, Chile, Venezuela. I'm probably leaving out some, but we're also possibly going to see Brazil go through something similar in the near future. And so I believe that South America is ripe for Bitcoin to take over, and I believe we're going to see a lot of adoption in South America. Now, let me know, drop your comments down below if you have a comment on any of these predictions. Would love to talk to you in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash that like button. I can go ahead and tell you what the biggest story of 2020 is going to be. It's going to be the U.S. presidential election. We are going to see coverage of this like nothing we've ever seen before due to the divisive nature of Donald Trump. Whether you love him or hate him, people are definitely going to be interested in whether or not he is going to be able to win re-election. Now, as that is going to be the biggest story of the year, it only makes sense to make a Bitcoin prediction surrounding the election, which is, I believe, Bitcoin is going to play a role in the election. Now, you may be saying, Bitcoin is so inconsequential right now, why would that play a role in the election? Well, I think you have to look no further than Facebook. LibraCoin has had so many problems and been such a hot topic all year that this has led to Bitcoin being a little more in the spotlight. If you look at when Donald Trump tweeted about Bitcoin, it was right on the heels of the Facebook hearings regarding LibraCoin. Now, we do know there's been some secret White House meetings with Mark Zuckerberg and other Bitcoin proponents about cryptocurrency and about Bitcoin. So it stands to reason that somewhere during one of these presidential debates, probably not in the primaries, but in the main presidential election, that somewhere big tech is going to play a big role. People are going to be talking about Facebook, talking about Twitter, talking about Instagram, maybe talking about TikTok, and how that relates to the general public. Privacy concerns, anything you can think of that we're concerned about with social media and with big tech, including Google, YouTube, censorship, this is going to play a role in the next election. And so Bitcoin somewhere will find a home in one of these debates. We have seen that Bitcoin is becoming a little of a political issue where we're having Republicans stand up for Bitcoin and we're having liberals and Democrats who want to control, talk about wanting to get rid of Bitcoin because it allows people to launder money, whatever the case may be. But I do believe, especially with the excitement that will be around Bitcoin after the halving, I think we're going to see Bitcoin brought up in a debate during the U.S. presidential election. My fourth bold Bitcoin prediction is that we are going to see Bitcoin maximalism go parabolic. You're going to see people letting go of their altcoin bags left and right and exchanging it in for Bitcoin. Now, does this mean that I think that altcoins don't have a place in the environment or that they won't eventually return? No, I think that eventually they will, maybe even towards the end of the year. But I do believe that the longer we go with capitulation in terms of people in the crypto community totally giving up, that we're going to see more people moving over to Bitcoin and just forgetting the whole altcoin market completely. I do think that is something that we're going to see. I do not personally believe that Bitcoin maximalism is good for the space as a whole. Sometimes they come off as very elitist and aggressive, and they seem to be the very people that becoming the very people that they set out to overthrow with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Bitcoin maximalism is like an elite club that you have to just totally turn your back on the rest of crypto in order to join. And I think we're going to see more people do that. But on this channel, you're going to continue to see altcoin videos, and you're going to continue to see me talk about decentralization, because I don't think Bitcoin is the only way that we can get there. Yes, I know what you've been waiting for. I know the question that you came here looking for the answer. Yes, Bitcoin will return to all-time highs in 2020. Will it reach $1 million or $100,000? No, it probably won't. Almost definitely won't. But I do believe that by the end of 2020, we will be seeing all-time highs. In June of this year, it seemed like we were getting that pump and we were heading back to all-time highs. But a lot of people think that this pump that we got right here was strictly due to the Plus token Ponzi scheme. So it was an unnatural pump. It came a little bit too early. Now, it seems like we could be heading back towards 8K sometime around, I would say, the halving. Okay, so the halving is in May. We could be around 8,000 around that time. A lot of people are calling for us to dip below back to $6,000 levels, which may or may not happen. But as long as we are on pace around 8,000 around May, then that means we could be hitting those all-time highs by the end of the year. If you look here, I know it's really hard to see because it's so tiny, but in 2016 in July, so right here is when the last halving occurred, okay, in July of 2016. Now, when you see when that happened, there was a dip afterwards, which we could be heading towards, and then you see here, you see the price start rising up, and of course, we all know what happened afterwards. Well, that happened around December to January. The halving that year was in July. This next coming year in 2020, it will be in May. So that means around November to December of this year, if things hold the way they've held in the past, we could be hitting those all-time highs. If we do hit the all-time highs by the end of this year, it will certainly only be by a thin margin. Don't look for the super parabolic action until well into 2021. But hey, let's enjoy the ride this time, guys. Let me know what you guys think. You can talk with me on Twitter or join my Telegram group. All of those links are down below in the video description. Would love to talk to you guys more about these predictions. What do you guys think is going to happen in 2020? Drop those comments below or drop me a line on Twitter or Telegram and let's talk. Everybody, thank you so much for watching that video, or this video, or that video, all the videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the like. BitBoy out.